Hey everyone, this is Amanda and I'm the campaign's associate for Food Empowerment Project. Right now we are here with vegan ocean artist Caiti Rose, who is the creator of Sharktopia, an artistic endeavor of altering the misconceptions of sharks and other misunderstood beings. Her art is also put to use in nonprofit campaigns for activism and awareness, and you can find more than 100 free coloring and activity pages on her website, one of which was a collaboration with Food Empowerment Project for our Fight for the Ocean effort. Caiti, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really great to have you. We're huge fans of your art and the difference that it makes.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So my first question that I have is, what made you realize that you wanted to help sharks?
The short answer is in 2011, I discovered shark finning and the horrors of how many sharks were being killed each year. And it just didn't seem sustainable. It didn't seem right. And I've been drawing sharks all my life, give or take a couple of years. So I was just really shocked. So that was like in 2011. And by 2014, after having posted some of my art online and seeing the connection that my art had with people, I started Sharktopia and just tried to start the process of raising awareness about shark finning and bycatch and the endless issues that our ocean is currently facing.
That's awesome. And so do you know what it was like? What is it that draws you to sharks specifically? Like why sharks have you been drawing all your life?
I'm going to blame the parents. PBS, 1980s PBS, you know, David Attenborough. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting some of the other names now. But basically PBS was my bestie. And I saw a lot of just clips of sharks, octopus, fish, everything related to the water. And I just latched onto it as a little kid. By 5 or 6 years old, I was drawing sharks and mermaids and boats and, you know, all these good things. So they just kind of fascinated me right from the start.
That's so great. And what do you say to people who think that sharks are scary?
Well, hopefully, if we're talking online, I could just provide a really quick Google link of like a thresher shark, because they always look like they're super surprised, like best surprise party ever. That's a thresher shark. They just walked in. It's crazy. Swam in, but you know, there's so many sharks out there. There are more than 400 species of sharks, and more are still being discovered, especially the deep sea sharks. So to have a blanket statement of being afraid of sharks, I would say, well, let me show you some sharks that are the opposite of scary. They're silly, they're funny, they're big and goofy, like the basking shark. A basking shark with its mouth closed looks like a Muppet. Like, you cannot be afraid of this adorable, puffy-cheeked shark that like makes you want to hug it. It's just impossible.
So great. Wow, I can't believe that there are more than 400 species.
Yeah, more and more with more exploration. I mean, so much of our ocean water is untapped as far as what we've discovered. So seeing some of those deep water sharks that have just been discovered even in the past 50 years, how many more are there? Probably quite a few, for sure.
Yeah, that's so great. So what is something that you wish everybody could do to help the oceans?
I wish that, you know, we see all these posts online, we see the information in the news, we see it during news broadcasts. I was watching the news the other day, unfortunately, and a plastic bag just blew behind the reporter. And, you know, so we see the problem. We physically see it on our neighborhoods, on our sidewalks, in our parks, on the beaches, you know, but not exclusive to the beaches. The issue is pretty much everywhere at this point. And I just wish there was like a switch. I wish everybody was like, you know what? Yes, reusable bag. Got it. It's in the car. Reusable water bottle. Got it. There's an extra one in the car as well, or always in the purse, always in the backpack. You know, coffee mug. We're so guilty of wanting coffee and not bringing our reusable mug. Can we get to that place where we just say, I didn't bring the reusable mug, I'm not going to get my coffee? You know, I mean, it sounds like a simple option, but I can't tell you how many times being at a cafe, one that I love here locally, and have asked a couple of the people who are friends of mine, you know, hey, do you guys have reusable mugs? Just curious. And they all say yes, they do. They have some fantastic ones, but they just don't remember to bring them, you know, while they're sitting at a cafe sipping out of a single-use cup. And it's just, I wish so strongly there was that switch, that no matter what, we would hold ourselves accountable, because the corporations aren't doing it. The corporations are still putting out the single-use plastic. So what if we stopped using it? You know, that's a massive endeavor. That's a massive effort. I understand. And it goes back to that age-old saying, like, it starts with me. What can I do? And I wish every person that was able to do that would just make the switch, reusables, and start cleaning up the community, you know? I don't know how else to word that. I'm part of a community cleanup every 2 weeks. It's not a massive effort. There aren't hundreds of people. It's a few people from the neighborhood who get together and just clean up what we can for a couple hours, and we do it every 2 weeks, you know? I mean, it does help on that day make the neighborhood look nicer.
That's so great. I probably do it every 2
A
weeks.
lot of wishing.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got that's part of Fight for the Ocean on Fight for the Ocean Day, which is August 30th. In past years, we've also done an ocean cleanup, and recently haven't because of the pandemic, but it's also something that we really value as a part of the work to fight for the ocean. So
Right.
thank you for all that you do.
Every action helps. Every little bit helps. I think there is a stigma out there that says, well, I'm just one person. If I do this cleanup, big deal, it's not going to make a difference. It does, because somebody else might see you doing that cleanup and somebody else might be inspired to do it, and they might get their family involved, or they might just switch because they saw you doing a cleanup. They might think, that's right, I have a reusable mug at home, I'm going to go get it. Like, we're all connected. We're all domino effect little pieces that we can affect our surroundings and the people around us, and do our best to lead by example. We are far from perfect, you know. I'm definitely guilty of pouring coffee into a jar because that's all I had on hand. I really wanted that coffee that day. So I make sure I have extra usables, and I do what I can, but it's not a perfect system. So to anybody out there who's like, oh yeah, that's great, but you know, this, and this, well, just do what you can. You know, what's one thing that you can do? Do that, you know?
And yeah, speaking of inspiring people to make a change, I myself really love the combination of art and activism. And so I'm really excited about your work because of the way that you weave them together. So I'm wondering if you want to say anything about how important art is to get the message of compassion out there.
Definitely. I would say I could talk until my mouth went completely dry. And I would get a few points across for sure. And maybe some of what I said might be remembered, but you know, are you going to remember this talk and every single word, or are you going to remember the coloring book that includes information? You know, are you going to remember the picture that shows a mermaid swimming with a reusable water bottle, which is kind of funny, filling it as she goes, of course. But, you know, what's going to make more of an impact? What's going to stick more in your mind is, you know, going to be showing, here's what's happening. And although there are tons of photographers out there and there are tons of photos out there, there are documentaries, highly recommend Envoy film, that's out of Australia, and talking about the shark nets and the drum lines. And they on their social media have all those pictures of, you know, dolphins caught on the lines, or, you know, little sharks caught in the nets, or even big sharks, of course. But birds, whales get caught in those nets constantly. And I still think while those photographs are so powerful, for some reason people tend to connect more with art, like an artistic interpretation of what's going on seems to really stick in the person's mind. Um, so art through, I should say, awareness through art, activism through art seems to be just a very powerful way that we can all connect and really think about these issues and have them stick and then make the changes we need to make.
Absolutely agreed. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's all we have today for the interview. Caiti, thank you so much for your answers to my questions. It's been great to hear from you about this, and we're so glad to have you as part of our Eat Your Ethics event.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
To everybody watching, I highly recommend that you check out Sharktopia. The artwork is incredible. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so much.